Hello everyone and welcome back to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. I'm your host Tony, and today we have a fantastic topic that I think many of us can relate to. Have you ever felt stuck, caught in a loop of thoughts, planning and worrying, but never actually doing anything? Yes, we're talking about overthinking. And to help us navigate this mental maze, I'm thrilled to introduce our wonderful guest, Jenny, a productivity coach and a master of action. Welcome, Jenny.
Hi, Tony. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and chat about this. It's truly a topic close to my heart because, honestly, I used to be a chronic overthinker myself. So I've lived through the struggle and found ways to break free. I'm looking forward to sharing some practical tips with your listeners today.
That's wonderful to hear, Jenny. It's always great when someone with personal experience can offer insights. So let's dive right in. Overthinking, it sounds simple, but it can be so paralyzing. How do you define overthinking in this context, and why do you think it prevents us from taking action?
That's a great question, Tony. For me, overthinking isn't just thinking a lot. It's when your thoughts become unproductive. It's when you're analyzing, planning, worrying, or replaying things in your mind repeatedly, without moving closer to a solution or taking a step forward. It's like being on a mental treadmill. You're expending a lot of energy, but you're not actually going anywhere.
Ah, the mental treadmill. That's a perfect analogy. So, what do you think are the main reasons people fall into this overthinking trap?
Well, there are a few common culprits. One of the biggest is the fear of making a mistake, or what I call perfectionism paralysis. We want everything to be perfect before we start. So we keep planning, researching, and tweaking, but we never launch. Another major reason is the fear of failure. We imagine all the worst-case scenarios, and our brain tries to protect us by keeping us safe in the planning phase, rather than risking failure by actually doing something.
Perfectionism paralysis, I love that phrase. It's so true. I think many of us have experienced that. You know, you want to write an email, but you spend an hour rephrasing every sentence, worried it's not perfect enough, and then you don't send it. Or you want to start a new hobby, but you need the perfect equipment, the perfect time, the perfect course, and you never begin.
Exactly. It's that cycle. And sometimes it's also about a lack of clarity. When we don't know exactly what to do or where to start, our brain tries to figure out every single detail first. This can lead to feeling overwhelmed, and then we just shut down. So it's not just about what we're thinking, but also how we're thinking about it.
That makes a lot of sense. So if we recognize we're overthinking, what's the first step to break free from this cycle and actually start taking action? Is there a magic button?
No magic button, Tony, but there are powerful strategies. The very first step is awareness. You need to notice when you're overthinking. Ask yourself, am I actually making progress with these thoughts, or am I just spinning my wheels? Once you recognize it, you can apply a technique. One simple yet powerful technique is the 5-second rule.
The 5-second rule? Tell us more, Jenny. That sounds intriguing.
It's a concept popularized by Mel Robbins. The idea is simple. If you have an impulse to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds, or your brain will kill it. So when you feel yourself hesitating or overthinking, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you immediately take a small physical action towards your goal. It literally interrupts the overthinking pattern.
Wow, that's really interesting. So if I'm overthinking about doing my laundry, I'd go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick up one sock. Is that it?
Exactly, Tony. You've got it. It could be picking up one sock, or opening your laptop if you need to start writing, or standing up if you're thinking about going for a walk. The action doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be an immediate physical response to the impulse. This technique stops your brain from creating excuses or fears.
That's a fantastic practical tip. I can see how that bypasses the rationalizing part of the brain that often leads to overthinking. What about situations where the task feels too big, like starting a new business or writing a book? Those feel like massive endeavors, which could easily lead to months or years of overthinking.
You're absolutely right, Tony. For big tasks, the break it down strategy is crucial. Overthinking often happens because the task seems overwhelming. So you take that big goal and break it into the smallest possible actionable steps. For example, if you want to write a book, don't think, write a book. Think, write one paragraph, or create an outline for chapter 1.
Breaking it down. So instead of clean the whole house, it's clean one counter. Or instead of learn Spanish, it's learn 5 new words today. That feels much more manageable, less intimidating.
Precisely. And the beauty of this is that taking even a tiny action builds momentum. Once you complete one small step, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, a feel-good chemical. This makes you feel more confident and motivated to take the next small step. It's a positive feedback loop that counters the negative overthinking loop.
Ah, the power of momentum. I've definitely felt that. It's like, once you start, it's easier to keep going. It's the starting that's the hardest part, isn't it? So, what happens if we take action and it's not perfect? Or we fail? How do we handle that without falling back into overthinking and self-criticism?
This is where a shift in mindset is crucial, Tony. We need to embrace the idea of imperfect action. Most people wait for perfection, but perfection rarely arrives. The truth is, things will never be perfect, especially when you're starting. So the goal is to start, learn, and iterate. Think of it as a first draft. It's okay if it's messy. You can always improve it later.
Imperfect action. I like that. It removes the pressure. So instead of thinking, this must be amazing, you think, this is a start, and it will get better.
Exactly. And regarding failure, it's not the end. It's a lesson. When something doesn't work out as planned, instead of dwelling on, oh no, I failed, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? This shifts you from a victim mentality to a learning mindset. Successful people aren't those who never fail. They're those who fail, learn, and keep going.
That's a powerful reframing. It turns a negative experience into a positive growth opportunity. Do you have any personal stories, Jenny, where overthinking almost stopped you, but you pushed through?
Oh, absolutely, Tony. Many. When I first thought about starting my coaching business, I spent months, literally months, overthinking every single detail. What should my website look like? What if no one hires me? Do I need another certification? Is my English good enough? I planned my business plan, then replanned it. I designed logos, then redesigned them. I was in analysis paralysis.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I even bought a domain name and then let it sit there for 6 months. I was so afraid of not being ready or perfect. My husband, bless him, finally just said, Jenny, just tell one person you're a coach. Just one? That was my 5-second rule moment. It felt like a tiny step, but it was the first real action. I told a friend and she actually asked for help. That one small action broke the spell. My website was still ugly. My business cards didn't exist, but I had my first client.
Wow, that's a brilliant story, Jenny. It shows how that one tiny step can be the domino that knocks over all the others. And I bet your website and business cards got better later, right?
Exactly. They evolved, and they're still evolving. The point is, if I had waited for everything to be perfect, I would still be overthinking it now, and my business wouldn't exist. It's about progress, not perfection. Another example, a lighter one, is about learning to cook. I love cooking now, but when I first started, I would follow recipes step by step, meticulously measuring everything, scared to make a single mistake. I'd read the recipe 5 times before starting.
Haha, I can picture that. And then, what happened?
My dishes were okay, but not great, and cooking was stressful. My friend, who's a fantastic cook, just told me, Jenny, cooking is about tasting and adjusting. You won't learn by just reading. You have to try, even if it's too salty or not spicy enough. So I started experimenting more, feeling the ingredients, and accepting that some meals would be disasters. And guess what? I became a much better cook, and I enjoy it so much more now because I'm not overthinking every single ingredient or step. I just do it.
That's a wonderful analogy for life, isn't it? You learn by doing, not by just planning or reading. You have to taste and adjust your life. So for our listeners, what are your top 3 key takeaways they should remember from our conversation today?
Okay, my top 3 key takeaways for anyone struggling with overthinking. First, nostally recognize the overthinking loop. Be aware when you're just spinning your wheels, not making progress. Ask yourself, is this productive thinking or just worry?
That's a great first step. Awareness.
Second, take tiny immediate action. Use the 5-second rule to interrupt the cycle. Count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take one small physical step towards your goal. Remember, the first step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be taken. And for bigger goals, break them down into bite-sized pieces.
Small steps, big impact. Love it.
And third, embrace imperfect action and learn from failures. Don't wait for perfection. Start messy, start small, just start. And if things don't go as planned, don't view it as failure. View it as a learning opportunity. Ask, what can I learn? Instead of, why did I fail? This mindset will keep you moving forward.
Fantastic, Jenny. Recognize, act, embrace. Those are 3 powerful, actionable tips that our listeners can apply right away. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and practical advice with us today. This has been incredibly insightful.
It was my pleasure, Tony. I really hope this helps someone out there who feels stuck in their own head. Just remember, your thoughts are not always facts, and action is the antidote to anxiety. You've got this.
Action is the antidote to anxiety. What a brilliant way to end. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please share it with a friend. And don't forget to practice your English by talking about these ideas. Remember, don't overthink it. Just take action. We'll see you next time.